Do you ever think back on your childhood and think, how different am I? Like, I feel like the person I was then and the person I am now, two completely different people. In a good way for the most part, but it's just so different. I didn't know anything about the world, or I didn't know anything. As I'm sure you know, I learned a lot in my recent years, and all that learning I did, and I realized y'all still don't know nothing about me. So, here we go. In my opinion, there are three main differences between the person I used to be and the person I am now. And I guess the cutoff point would be all the things that I've learned, which you can see in my previous video. A little backstory. I was born and raised in the suburbs of Central Jersey. Yes, Central Jersey does exist. So I had a pretty soft life growing up. Sheltered, not perfect, but a good life as a kid. We were very family oriented, so I met up with both sides of my family pretty frequently. All holidays, birthdays, just because, dinners and everything. I spent a lot of time with my family. But the first, and what I think is the biggest difference between me and her, I used to be the biggest people pleaser and peacemaker. I would compromise my own feelings to make sure that everybody in my house was happy and everything was going smoothly. To the point where even as a young adult, like in college, I did not know how to feel anger. There were situations where I very well should have been angry, but I wasn't. I was just sad. I did not know how to express that. I didn't feel like I could because I just never did growing up. I could not be angry, just sad, because I was such a big peacemaker, which is really crazy to think about because anger is a very normal emotion. You should be able to feel anger. You should be able to express anger in a healthy way. But I really could not. And up until pretty recently, actually, I would just be sad. Thankfully, I can express anger now. Now it's more so I'm working on reeling it back and expressing it in a healthy way. But we'll get to that later. I was a very big peacemaker in my family, in my house, and a people pleaser, which I think created a guilty conscience. I mean, it was so bad that I remember, I think I was like 8, and my older brother picked me up from summer camp, and it was free Slurpee day at 7-Eleven. So he got me free Slurpee, and on the way out, I saw this big metal straw, and I wanted it so bad, but I was like 8, I didn't have any money, so I took it. I stole the metal straw. Don't tell nobody. I stole the metal straw from 7-Eleven. When it was time to go to bed, I just laid there. I could not go to sleep, and I cried because I felt so guilty that I stole this $1 straw from 7-Eleven. And my dad used to check in on us every night. So when he came in, he saw me crying, and he asked me what was wrong. And so I told him I was scared that the police were gonna come get me. He basically told me I was overreacting, but he was like, okay, so go return the straw. So I did. I returned the straw, I put it back. No plastic wrapping on it anymore or anything. I didn't even say anything. I just went, put the straw back, and left. Knowing that what I was doing was wrong ate me up inside, and I just couldn't live with it. I could not even for more than a day. It was like 6 hours that I could not live with it, and I had to tell somebody. But now I set boundaries. I'm no longer keeping the peace in any situation at the expense of my own feelings. And it's not perfect. I'm still learning. It's a work in progress, and I'm getting better every day. Much better than I used to be. I gotta ask my dad if he remembers that story about the straw I stole from 7-Eleven. The second thing that I would say is a big difference for me is recognizing my own toxic behaviors. There were situations when I was younger where I was wrong, and I knew I was wrong, but I used weaponized incompetence and got my way. If you don't know what weaponized incompetence is, it's basically playing like you don't know in order to get what you want or to seem innocent. Those are my little toxic behaviors. I'm an Aquarius, and the Aquarius gang is going to kill me for saying this, but we can be toxic sometimes or have toxic behaviors. Let me not say be toxic. Recognizing that is an important step to getting rid of those toxic behaviors. But as a kid, I played to my strengths. I was the youngest of 4, 2 older brothers and an older sister, and I was a daddy's girl. So I knew the different ways I could get whatever I wanted, and so did my siblings. They used to tell me to go ask my dad something because they knew if I asked, we would get it. My sister still hates me. No, she don't hate me. She can never hate me. My sister still gets on me about this to this day. When we were little, we shared a room because we're pretty close in age, and when our parents did our laundry, we would have to take turns bringing the laundry basket up the stairs. But because she was older, I used to pretend that I couldn't carry it up the stairs, so she would have to carry it up the stairs every week. Oh, it's too heavy. So they would tell my sister to take it upstairs. Sometimes I would actually do it. And yes, like I said, she still gets on me about this to this day. She gets angry. That was an example on how I used to use weaponized incompetence. But the person I am now, I try to catch myself in those toxic thoughts. And if they actually evolve into actions, once I realize that they're not in line with the person I want to be, I apologize and correct my behaviors. So yes, it's okay to have some toxic behaviors as long as you're recognizing and correcting those. This is all still a learning thing for me, and nothing that I do today or anytime in the future will be perfect. I'm constantly working and changing and everything. So as of right now, still working at it. The third and final difference between her and me is I'm my own person now, and I'm not following in anybody else's footsteps. As I mentioned, my sister and I were close in age. She's a little bit less than 2 years older than me, so we did a lot together. People used to think we were twins, so I would do things just because my sister did them, which I think, thinking back on it now, is probably why sometimes I have trouble doing things alone, because I always did them with someone else. But I wouldn't trade my childhood growing up with my sister for anything. That's my bestie. But I used to always do things just because my sister did them. Example, soccer. My sister played soccer basically her whole life since she was 5. And once I got old enough, I tried soccer. And my mom loves to tell this story. Actually, during the games, my mom says that they would spend the entire time telling me to run. They'd be like, Cole, run, run. And I would just turn and look at them and be like, fun fact about me, I do not run. I don't like running. I do not run unless it's absolutely necessary. It just is what it is. I don't like it at all. My whole face will be red. I'll be angry. You'll see it in my face. I'll be like, not for me. So my mom realized that, maybe soccer's not really for her. So she sat me down one day and she said, Cole, you don't have to do soccer just because your sister does it, right? And I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, yeah, don't sign me up for next year then. So then I tried cheerleading. That was my thing. Because I love to sing, I love to dance. That was my thing. Basically, 5 until high school, I cheered my entire life. I absolutely loved it. The person I am now, I'm creating my own footsteps. I'm not just following someone else's. I'm building the footsteps that I want to follow and going in that direction. I'm my own person, and I'm doing what I like to do. Well, that's my life. Thank you so much for watching. Do you get that reference? I was a Disney kid, I'm sorry. Lizzie McGuire. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you for sticking around to get to know a little bit more about me. I hope you enjoyed it. Now that you see me, I see you, we see each other, you can go back and watch my growth journey. Thanks for watching.